Hey guys, welcome back to the Cook Scrapcraft YouTube channel. Glad you could join me. I've got another scrapbook process video to share with you today. This one is not for any design team. It's just one that I created just for fun for myself to go into my regular scrapbook album, and the title of it also happens to be fun. It's a scrap lift of one that I saw from Christy's Beautiful Life. And when I saw her layout, I went, oh my gosh, this is the perfect layout to use up some strips of Echo Park scrapbook paper that was in my scrap stash. I actually have a drawer full of just scrap paper waiting to be used. And what I love about this layout of Christie's is that I think it's just the perfect way to use up those scrap pieces of paper. I did have to add in a couple of extra pieces from some other collections. That pink cardstock is just some solid cardstock from like a Michael's paper pad, and I'd actually used that solid cardstock on the original layout that I had used the Echo Park paper with. So that had already kind of been in the scrap drawer with the Echo Park paper, so that was really easy to find to go along with it. And then the unicorn paper was kind of like out already on my scrap desk. I think that's American Crafts, I believe. And then I end up pulling some Pink Paislee scraps that I also had kind of lying around, and some tissue paper that came in my Cheeky Studio design team kit. All my stuff was wrapped up in that. So this was definitely a layout that was good stash buster, I have to say. And it was really easy to put together. I mean, I guess you could like measure the placement or whatever. You could measure the size of those strips. I just kind of went with the sizes of the strips that I already had. You can see on my phone, I had the picture of Christie's layout pulled up. It's on my Pinterest board, my scrapbook cards Pinterest board. So you can see I was trying to really stick with the design of the original layout, but I wasn't like her strips, the crisscross strips, are both pretty thick. But you know, the scraps that I had, one of the strips was thick and one of them was very thin, and I just left it that way. You know, I thought whatever. So I feel like you could really, well, I mean, with any scrap lift, you can really work with it and make it your own. Do, you know, especially when you're using scrap pieces of paper, you really just kind of work with what you have. And in the words of Project Runway, make it work. So that's the tissue paper that I ended up using. And I love the black and white stripes. I just thought it was kind of a nice sort of neutral to go against those colors of the Echo Park papers. And those are, I think those were like last year's Echo Park summer papers or something. And here's the Pink Paislee. I was just trying to do a little bit of like paper layering behind that. That photo, you'll notice, has me in it. You see a lot of my daughter in my layouts, but I do take pictures of myself from time to time. And that picture was taken at the Ben & Jerry's factory in Vermont. And let me just say, if you're ever in Vermont, definitely do that factory tour. And if you ever are looking for a fun vacation destination, especially maybe like a family vacation destination, go to Vermont. My husband and I went there last April, so about a year ago. And we were only there for, it was like not even 2 days. It was a really quick kind of like drive there and drive back. But it was a lot of fun. I would definitely love to go back and spend a little more time in certain places that we visited. We did the Vermont Teddy Bear Factory, which I think I did a scrapbook layout about purchasing a teddy bear there. You can watch the process video on my YouTube channel for that layout. But that factory tour was really great. And then we did the Ben & Jerry's tour also. And you do get a sample of ice cream. And it's not just like a little scoop on a kiddie spoon. It's a pretty sizable scoop of ice cream. I was really surprised at how large it was, especially because you can also purchase like regular scoops of ice cream, cones and whatnot. right outside of the factory. So, of course, we, got the sample and then purchased even more ice cream. Yeah, you don't get to choose the flavor of the sample. So the flavor that we were sampling was milk and cookies, and I have to say, I didn't really like it. Which is surprising because I don't think there are many flavors of ice cream that I don't like. I don't know, something about the milk and cookies I just didn't really like that much. Anyway, so those chipboard accents, I had already used some of them on some of my other layouts. Those are Echo Park as well, but of course I had some left over, and I thought the ice cream cone, of course, was perfect because it was a picture of me at the Ben & Jerry's factory, and that my face is in, I don't know which one is which, Ben or Jerry's face. It's like a cutout that you can put your face in and take a picture. Obviously, my husband was taking the picture of me. I guess we could have asked someone to take a picture of the two of us so that there was somebody in the other face, but God forbid my husband has this picture taken, so he was the photographer there. I really loved those words that said fun, and I thought that was just an easy way to create the title using those chipboard letters. I just struggled with where to place them. I was trying to go kind of where the original layout from Christy had a pretty long title, and obviously I wasn't doing a big long title, so I was just trying to figure out where to put those chipboard letters. And I didn't think they were very sticky. I like those Echo Park chipboard accents, but I definitely, as you can see, had to use some glue dots to keep that stuff down because they just did not stick very well on my paper. I was just using like plain white Bazzill cardstock, and those chipboards, I don't know, not super sticky. So that's just a branding strip from, I can't remember, was that an American Crafts paper? Now I can't remember, but I love that it had cameras on it because obviously it's taking a picture. I'm just kind of, which I don't think you can really see in this video, but I'm just making a little like cluster in the bottom right hand side, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling. I just love the way this layout turned out, and like I said, I'm definitely going to be using this design more often, especially when it comes to using up my scraps. And then I'm going to finish it off with some Lindy's Stamp Gang Hibiscus Rose. I'm like obsessed with splattering all over the place. I just love the way that looks. And I saw that it was like a, just kind of a plain white background. It's a very simple design, but there ended up being a lot of white space. And I thought, I need a little something, something. But I do add some sequins from the Cheeky Studio. I believe it was the Unicorns and Rainbows sequins mix, because that's a nice mix of pinks. I think there's like some white sequins, very like iridescent sequins in there. I really like the way that sort of matched with sort of like the pinky colors that were sort of in this paper. There they are. That sequin mix is really cool. The pinky colors that were in this, in the pattern papers that I had, and also, unicorns and rainbows. I've got that unicorn paper down there at the bottom, which is very cool. So anyway, again, love that this was a great way to use up some stuff in my stash. So easy to put together too. I did this like in an evening, I think. The whole thing took about 20 minutes. And I am so grateful for Christy's inspiration. If you don't follow her on Instagram or her YouTube channel, I would highly recommend that you do, because you get a lot of great scrapbook inspiration from her. I can't tell you how many layouts of hers I have pinned from her Instagram in anticipation of scrap lifting her. She's so inspiring. I don't know where she gets all of her ideas. I love sequins. They're so much fun. They just add so much shine. So, but of course, I would want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, because even though this was a scrap lift, it's always fun to see how other people interpret other designs, sketches, that type of thing. So hopefully you got some inspiration from this as well. And from some of my other process videos that you've seen. And don't forget, you can also follow me on my blog. That link is below, as well as all of my other social media channels, so I'll post all of those links below as well. And I have to say that I've been loving how, oh, here comes the splatter. I've been loving how all of the, I know I'm on the Cheeky Studio design team, so I'm a little biased, but I love how the Cheeky Studio products have been so versatile with everything that I have been using in my stash. They're really amazing, so I would highly recommend that you go to the Cheeky Studio store. And I have a discount code, COOKSCRAP10, so check it out. I think that's it. So I'm going to share with you some close-ups so you can see a little bit more detail. See you next time.